everybody. I'm going to go over the tools you need, the tips and tricks, and the parts you need. Also, even I have the part numbers right here to show you. Definitely want to follow my mouse around. Uh, and I'm going to show you the parts you don't need, even though you're repairing or replacing your turbo. So I just did mine. At the time of making this video, I have 60 miles on the new turbo. This is not the turbo I bought. I just found this on eBay, and I think it's pretty good. Um, Pretty good for the price. I actually bought mine on eBay. It's one of these. I'll get to it. But normally I make a video and I walk you guys clear through it and I show you the toughness and all the stuff that's hard to get off and what you really got to do. A lot of people cut out like a bolt that was frozen up, and I'm going to go over all that on here, the bolts that are frozen, the bolts that aren't frozen. My car has 500,000 miles on it, and the turbo just went out. There's 250,000 on the turbo, 500 on the total car because it's a tow car. Very high mileage. But yeah, I'll go over it. At the time of making this video, my car, some of the bolts still came out and some didn't. I'm going to go over that. But instead of making a video, uh, I'm going to show you every tool you need, everything. The benefit of doing it this way is it isn't a 10-hour video, and it also didn't take me 20 hours to make it, because making a video takes a lot of extra time. And I just wanted the new turbo on the car and get it going. So through this whole video, I'm going to give you part numbers, and I'm going to tell you the tools you need and tips and tricks, and definitely some parts that you don't need. So my car, I started smelling exhaust fumes. I drove it for another probably 80,000 miles before then, and then all of a sudden my turbo was making a lot of whining sounds that weren't normal. Kind of sounded like the serpentine idler pulley, but it wasn't that. It turned out to be my turbo. After I got it off the fin, as you pushed it to one side, the fins. I think I got a picture out here somewhere. Yeah, there's the fin. See, it's a little blade in there. It's supposed to be perfectly center. If you pushed it to one side, it would almost lock up. So who knows what it was doing when it was full speed, which these things spin very, very fast and need to be working perfectly. And mine just wasn't. And so I went ahead. I'm going to go through here. I don't know what. So I use this site not to buy my parts, but if you want to get part numbers, just go to GM Accessories or whatever, type in your vehicle, which mine pops up right there. This is a 2018 Malibu. Uh, the Traverse, I don't know about the Traverse, but I know the Equinox has the same stuff. And this is where I get my part numbers. And then I type them in somewhere else. But don't think that this is right. This will actually tell you you only need one of these, but then you need two. So stay tuned and I'll tell you more. Also the fender bolts. There's all kinds of extra stuff in here. I know what all this stuff is now because I just did it. The turbo hose. So I did not replace any of the turbo hoses. What the heck is that? Oh, my turn signal. I did not replace any of the hoses. All my hoses were good. This little thing came on my turbo. So I think this is a pretty good deal. Just looking at it. This ain't what I paid. Here's our first part number. I'm gonna go over it real quick. Right here, you need two of these. This part number right here. Now I would put links on here, but I'm having a lot of problem as the link gets old. It isn't valid. And this was a pretty good price. I actually got it for $1 cheaper, but you need two of these. This only comes with one. And see how it goes on one side it's number 7. It goes on one side of the seal, or one side of the part, and one on the other side of the part. Now I have a picture. I have pictures even I'm going to show you of my car as I tore it apart. But it's probably going to pop it up right here. See this? This is the line. You need one on this side and one on that side, and a bolt goes through that hole. So you need two of them. Now if you scroll down here, go to GM, quantity needed, 1. Well, that should mean when you buy this, 2 of them are in the pack. But no, it came as 1 individual, and no matter what you do, you need 2 of them, top and bottom. Now on some of these, you could see that right there where the screw goes in and it's a bit shiny. You could tell there's been a washer on there. They are a bit kind of like a metal washer. This one's cheap. I got them $1 cheaper. So you need this part number, 2 of them. You need, even though these look the same, you need, okay, this is what you don't need. This, I got this one, so this goes on there on both sides, and it's no different than the picture I just sent you. Here, let's go look at a turbo and I'll show you. So on the turbo, there is, see them 3 holes right there? There's 3 of them. The very top one, which on this picture it is the bottom one because it's flipped upside down, that is a small, if you look at my mouse right now, that is a smaller bolt. These 2 bolts are the exact same bolt. And as you can see, the seal that's still on there, see how it's falling on the inside? I don't know why it is, but I am changing mine. The seal they give you, see the other one don't have a seal that's fallen in or nothing? For some reason, the seal they give you for this one right here, even though it's the same bolt, is a different size. It's way too big and it fits on there way too loose. Now this one that's in the middle hole, it fits perfect. And then the one on the other one doesn't even matter because it's a smaller bolt, so it requires a different part number. I would not buy this. This is the part number that you need for this, but I would buy 4 of these. This is the same bolt, same bolt, same bolt. These 2 are the same bolt, 2 different part numbers, same exact bolt. I would buy not this part number. If you do want to buy this part number, you need 2 of these. I do not like this, and that's probably the 2 that are me. It also says you need 1, and you do need 2. I'm going to delete that one now. I would buy 4 of these because this one, you already need 2 of them for its line. This is the 3rd and final line. Then you need 2 of the, okay, I'm backwards. Okay, sorry. You need 4 of the 8-4 number. You only need 2 of these. This is the, thank God you only need 2 of these. This is the smaller one for the smaller hole. The part number that I showed you at the very beginning that I deleted, it ended in 2184. You need 4 of them. You only need 2 of these, which are expensive, but this goes on the little pipe, the lower one, the upper one, who knows? I think it's the upper one. Yeah, it's the upper one. You will need 2 of these. Again, it only says 1, and even if you go to GM, it says quantity needed 1. Well, they only ship you 1, so you need 2 total, 2 to complete the project. So again, if you don't want the gasket to fit really weird, and mine was tore and it just almost started leaking, and it's a weird bolt like this too. See how there's a hole up the middle? It has a lot more holes in it than that, but when you tighten them down, make sure you don't tighten it too tight at all. Really, it's almost finger tight because this isn't a solid bolt and it will crack. But you need 2 of these, so that's $18. That's what I paid too. Somebody bought an extra one. But yeah, you need that, and then I think we're done with that. So if you don't want the looseness, buy 4 of the 2184s and just totally forget the 85s. 86 you do need. You need 2 of them. So then this is the gasket. It's hard to see, but this is the gasket. This is your part number. This is the gasket that goes between, that's actually a picture of it right there from a different lister. I'll go ahead and click on that. That's what it should look like. I think this is the GM picture. That's so nice of them. It actually shows you a really good picture. It goes on the end of your turbo. Do not separate your turbo because then you're going to have more issues. This, you want it brand new because an older one is flattened already. And that goes on the end right there, on that far end. Actually, that one's on there. Can you see it's separated a little bit? That's on there, and that is where mine was leaking, but we will get to why it was leaking. This one's actually on there. You see how it goes around? And right there's the clip. And then there's another clip. Yeah. It's hard to see when you take yours off, but it does have one on there, and it's really nice to have that because some turbos don't have that. So that was the part number. That's what it looks like. I think it loaded up another window. So what's this one? Okay. So your turbo then goes to, it bolts to the engine like so. See them 4 bolt holes right there. clean that up really good, which I forgot to clean mine up now that I'm thinking of it. Whether you are taking it off, repairing yours, or putting on a new one, you're going to want this. This is the gasket. The weird looking gasket. I don't even think there's any good pictures of it, but it's built into the shield. So the shield, when you get yours, hopefully this ain't my done photo. Oh, that's my done photo. I got stuff going on in another window. So this is what yours probably looks like. This was before I did it. This shield right here, this comes apart, but this shield right here goes clear down the back of between your engine and your turbo, and it becomes your seal. That's the seal, a header seal. I don't really know what you, or not a header seal, a manifold seal. Manifold gasket. Yeah, there we go. But that's your part number. I got mine for 15 bucks. It went on sale. I wish it wasn't such a big piece. As I put it on, I just bent mine straight up. The new one and the old one, and I'll get to all that pretty soon. But I bent it straight up. It was, and then I bent it back, of course. But that's another part you need. Definitely need this because that's where I thought it was leaking, and it wasn't. So this is the turbo I ended up buying. It said it only had 28,000 miles on it. It definitely has low miles on it. I put it on there, no problems at all. I have a lot of my power back. The squealing went away. This isn't even the picture. Mine came in and it looked nice. Like, I'll show you guys how to tell if the turbo's just maybe has too many miles on it in case you're going used. As much work as you have to go through, I don't think I'd pay over $300, but I would also not buy two used of one. So that's the exact turbo that I bought. Came in, looked great. Their pictures are shit, but I went by the mileage, even though that could be a lie. But it came out good. This is a shield. I didn't change mine. I don't even think there is a part number on this. I'm not seeing. I just wanted to show you guys that is this piece right here on the front of your Cadillac converter and turbo. Your turbo's right here, and then part of your turbo's over here, and then your cat goes clear down this way. These bolts, as you can see, mine all came out. I don't know how, we'll get to that, but mine all came out. But if you can't get yours out and you have to break all that off or bend this shield up, here's a new shield. Now most people in older cars say, oh, just throw the shield out. My car, I drive in a lot of rain. I don't know if anybody, I was told the old Escorts had a front manifold like this and no cover on it. The water would rush up here, and this is flaming hot. You could not touch this. Some vehicles get so hot, it's red hot. This gets so hot, and if you're splashing cold water on it or any type of water on it, it will crack. And the old Escorts used to crack. I'm sure there's other vehicles that have had this problem. So in my case, I just made sure the shield made it back on there so I don't have any cracking with all the mileage I do. And they don't just put shields on there, heat shields, to keep the heat in there. It also keeps it, this wire right here I got going. Hopefully you guys can see my mouse wherever it goes. This wire, all this wire loom right here, I just want it to all last longer, and direct heat makes all that stuff crumble away if you guys have worked on cars before. But no, I decided to put my shield back on, and I'll get to that because I did some modifications on mine. But that's the shield. I don't even know if that's used. I think they're about 60 bucks new. That one don't even look that bad. So that's the shield. Again, this is the site I go on. I'll type in turbo or whatever, get my part numbers, and then go find them on eBay, Amazon, wherever I need to go. Sometimes I find them really good. The turbo is listed in here somewhere. I think it's like 400 bucks. Oil return line. One of them is a flex line too. I'm thinking that's the flex line. I didn't quite like that, but I let it happen. Oh, why are my gaskets not in here? Okay, so here's a gasket you need. Here's another gasket. There's the part number. That goes on the bottom of the turbo. It goes, I have a few different pictures because instead of getting my own, there, goes right there. You see that? Now when you take this bolt out, that bolt actually has a piece of rubber in it that goes through a thick block that goes onto there. The block is part of the return feed line that goes straight back to your oil pan. And you'll need that. That was not easy to do. Now I have a lift, So it was easy to get it up in the air, put it down. It took me about 5 hours with almost no problems. Do you see how that one is ripped right there? I don't know if this is the same one, but I'm just showing you that. Also with that one that said it was new, this one's new. It comes with all these sensors, which is really nice, and the hose is all brand new. I think that's a really good deal. I at least think it's pretty nice because I like to get everything new. So you'll need that. Now when this comes in, that's the lower one. You don't need to take that pipe off. It's it's flanged out one way. I put the flange part towards the turbo, and I don't have any leaks. It's really nice. Let's just look through here. I don't think there's anything more. Nah, the turbo's in here somewhere. It's probably called something other than a turbo. But there's the O-ring if you're wanting that. I didn't have to. My O-ring to look really good, but that is the O-ring for this right here, and we'll get to that. So now let's get to the pictures. Now I haven't looked through these pictures. I just took them real quick and ran in the house. So this is my turbo before I took it off. So when you're looking at turbos, this is what it looks like in your car, of course. See all my pitting right there and all this right here? I don't know if I don't have a picture of the turbo out. So when you're looking at these turbos, see how that one's kind of orange like mine? Jesus. And then we got this one. It's a bit orange. Now when you look at this brand new one, it's not orange. Um, there's no orange in there. See, it's like brand new metal, really nice looking. This may be brand new, who knows? I don't know. I'm just going on what he says. And all this part right here looks really shiny. I would not put a turbo on this for the amount of work I had to do that wasn't shiny like this. That means it has a probably over 100,000 miles. You don't know when it's going out. You don't know how the person before you took care of the car. And yeah, mine came in from that eBay seller that I showed 28,000 miles, and mine looked just like this. It was just beautiful. I was like, yeah, I'll put that on. If it looked like this, yeah, I wouldn't have put that on there. Oh, there's that bolt with the hole in it right there. Uh, and yeah, I wouldn't have put it on there. So look, if you're looking, look for one that's not so orangish or so aged. They are out there, or just buy the new one. So you see this right here. I did not take it apart right there, and I would advise not to because then you got a whole nother seal problem going on there, and I already know where that seal's at. So I ended up converting all my lines over, or just leaving them on there. I just left them on there. So everything just was plug and play. So now I'm going to go through each one of my photos. So I ended up taking this cover off, which takes a 17 Torx T17. And I took that off because this Cadillac converter actually has to slide that way a good half inch, and this hits all this, and you do not want to break that oxygen sensor because you just don't. So these right here was a 13 millimeter, and another 13 millimeter. And the whole problem I had with doing this entire car was this line right here, this AC line. It does not move. It may move a quarter inch barely. And also, you do not want to hit your sensors up here. There's a sensor on both sides. That is your airbag sensor. If you crack that, it's going to explode your airbags. So unplug your whatever you need. So to take these out, mine look a little bit different than yours. Yours are probably rusty like that. It starts off with a 10 millimeter, and then it takes an 8 millimeter. Just get all the wrenches that fit it. Mine turned out to be a 10 millimeter clear down to an 8 because as rust builds up, rust is actually the part decaying away, so it actually gets smaller because it decayed away, so it's smaller. So get 6 points, 12 point. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about there. This is 6 point here. Look, there's anything 12 point on this. There's 6 points, like a stop sign, kinda, I guess. I don't know. But I can't tell you what size these are, but they're supposed to be a 10 millimeter, and most likely they will not be a 10 millimeter when you take it off. I ended up putting stainless back in, but I put washers in between there so it doesn't corrode onto the aluminum, and that'll work good. But there's two up here. You gotta take that one off, this one off, this one off, and then bend that stupid thing up. This whole piece. You ain't gonna do much without bending that up. And then there's two down lower. I did not get a picture of that, but we will carry on. So over here, this pipe, be very, very careful with it. But I ended up taking this out, loosening it up, and pulling that off. And then the one on the air box, which is a bigger one, I took that off so this could move everywhere, and I moved all this over to the side, which you'll see in a later photo. And I think that's it with that photo. I took a ton of pictures. I hope I got everything good. So I went ahead and drained the coolant. I don't think you really have to. I did it during an oil change and a coolant flush, but I got zero fluid out of this. I let it sit for about 4 hours. Zero fluids out of it. It was really nice. Am I ready to show you guys that picture? Oh, that's that's not the done photo. I just took a lot of photos. So remember, there's one here, one right there. You can barely see it, and then one right here. They did not like to come out. I couldn't see anybody else getting it as easy as what I had it. So these pictures are not flipping. So that's what it looks like once you get that cover off. Big old Cadillac converter. There's your turbo. There's the wastegate. There's your sensor. As you can see, I pulled that off like I told you guys. There is a bolt right here. You need to take it off because all this doesn't clear to pull it out. You have to pull this out. Now, I didn't take pictures of everything. I think I'm going to have to just describe everything I did. But right here was my leak. This is your Cadillac converter. Comes up with a 90-degree elbow straight into your turbo. And this is your turbo, at least the exhaust side of it. Now, this has a clamp on it. That clamp, I will never use it again, broke. It broke while it was on the car, and that metal is, this is supposed to be welded to that. I don't think, here's a picture of it from the side. Look how thin that metal is. It has 250,000 miles on the engine, 500,000 on the car, so this only has 250,000 miles on it, and it broke. So when it broke, it started separating, and there's no welding it back because it's so thin of metal. It's just a JB weld it, whatever. My headset just shut off for some reason. I'm making a video. uh, you want, it's just too thin of metal, and this thing really messed up my, I like to hear myself talk. Come on, flip. There we go. Now I can hear myself. So that metal is just too thin to weld, or it's just going to break in another spot. But this notch right here was pretty nice. I would buy one of these right now because even if you aren't smelling fumes or whatever, because this broke and created a gap on my exhaust side, and that's why I was having exhaust fumes even sitting at a stoplight. It came right into the cabin. So that goes right around that thing. Now I decided to upgrade. I upgraded mine, and we will get to that. Not something I would advise you guys to do, but I did it. Like I upgraded my to stainless bolts and all that. See how I bent that panel up? That's because, and I do not have it in a photo. There is, oh, see how that pops off and there's a gasket right there? There's a gasket on this side, and then there's a gasket on that side. So we will eventually get, why ain't this photo? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. That's the photo we were just looking at. So here it is removed. There is 4 studs. Now you can get to all of them once you remove that front cover. Once you remove this cover, you can get to all of them, but you can't see them unless you bend this up to look down in there. So you might as well just bend that cover up. Just to mention, while you have this off, make sure this cooler, your oil cooler, is cooled off. Make sure it's cleaned off. It is fins that keep your oil clean. If you look at this really closely, I think I got another picture, but I don't think it's that good. See how clean that side is? And then all of a sudden there's pits, there's all kinds of black stuff. That is where mine was leaking because that cover or that clamp broke. So these are the four studs that hold on your turbo. They are this right here, these four things right here. They are okay, now I'm going to tell you, they are a 13 millimeter, a 12, and a half inch. Okay, maybe not the 13. They're 12 and half inches because mine were so deteriorated. This one was great. Came right out. They all came right out, but this one came out with a 12 millimeter wrench or half inch, and these two need a 12 because they also deteriorated away, just like I told you. Them 10 millimeters are going to disappear. So the 12 and the half inch fit tighter, and I used 6 point, not 12 point. This one right here, there was no head left on it at all. I had to end up using a bit to remove it, and it popped right out with no problems. But even the tip on this, I don't know if I can zoom up and see. The tips normally you can put, I think, like a 6 millimeter on that and screw them out. I didn't do that, but this one's totally gone. So I went ahead and got new nuts to put on it because the shaft, the studs were still pretty good. But it's a half inch and a 12 millimeter, depending on how much yours has rotted off. um, Almost all cars do that. It just gets really hot and it gets cold, and the heat of the car, that's just what happens. And again, look at the stupid AC line. Yeah, they make it all compact, but this thing does not move. Did not want to take my AC pump off. So that's that picture. What are we on to now? Anything good? The same picture but looking straight down. Okay, as you remove this, just kind of remember all this stuff. I'm not really doing this in order. This is actually broken on this one. See, it's broke straight off. It's flush. I don't know if... Yeah, look, he broke it. Thank God, because I was wailing on mine. Don't worry about this. There is a clip in here. See the clear spot? There's a clip. You take a pair of pliers and you just pull the clip out. Just pull really hard. It'll pop right out. Or use a screwdriver and pry it sideways. It pops right out. And then this pulls straight out. There is a green seal in there, but mine looked brand new, so I just left it, put it back in. That goes down to, I think, the bottom of your intercooler. But seeing that other one broke off, I think mine's pretty tightened down right there. You can use just a screwdriver, and of course they put it on the bottom side. But as you're ripping it out, remember you have this there. There is also, if you look right here, there's two wires right there. Let's get to this picture. This picture was the best. So this one also has a clip. There's a clip on this. That clip just pops right out with a standard screwdriver. Easy peasy. This one has a red clip on it. You have to push the red clip one way. Then with your hand, push it on further. And then on the other side of the red clip, on the top side of it, push it in with a screwdriver and it'll pop right out. No problems. Now this right here, this is why I'm not showing you guys all the exact stuff perfectly, because this is an Allen wrench and mine was a T5 Torx, and this is different. So whatever it takes to get that off, you take that out and then just wiggle this a little bit and it pops right out. I don't know if I got a picture of that in on mine. No, and that was the seal I was telling you about. You can get a new seal for that, but that pushes into this area. But my seal was good. I oiled it up, put it back on. Where's my pictures at? This is my picture? This is my picture. So there's only two power lines that you'll have to take off. They plug right into here, but mine had fallen off because I had a belt fly off and it took all that with it. What is our next photo? Is it going to be anything good? I just took a bunch of pictures. Okay. See, mine pulled out. Part of it's a little bit gunky. The seal was on there. That's top side. I just put a little bit of oil on there, shoved it back in. Also, you can see how I told you I just pushed all that to the side. Make sure you don't break that. I did try to get it off, especially for the video purposes, but I just pushed that to the side. Again, there should be that bolt off over here because I had to move this line. But this line right here, it'll wiggle everywhere too. That was a pain. And I don't think having experience now would make it any faster. That picture doesn't show anything. That picture, this is the flexi line. I don't quite like flexi lines, but there's a flex in that. I probably would have changed it if I knew there was a flex in it, because sometimes that stuff just starts leaking, and that one goes clear to the top side. Now when you put the turbo in, make sure you push this up against there. You're going to be in trouble. Again, that shows you it's all clean right there. Mine started leaking on this side. We are getting to the photos of what it looks like now. Okay, now to move the converter, once you get this shield off, that's the shield on the top that covers the front of the converter. I remove this bolt, this nut, and this nut. Them actually have a huge gap around them and it lets you move. Don't remove these or you're going to have a seal problem right here and have to get a new seal. You can see one of them, but the other one is right next to it. Remove that nut, and there's a nut right above it. All four of these are 13 millimeter. Mine came right out, no problem. But this is actually on a keyway, or not keyway, I don't know what you call it. If you remove these, it actually slides. I don't know how this slides with it, but it slides about a ½ inch to allow you to move the turbo out. I took a picture of this in my driveway. I can't believe that turned out. I don't know if I got a better picture. Nope. I just kept taking pictures and then I ran inside. This was my first picture. Yeah. So again, I did drain the coolant. Oh, you can see both bolts there. I removed both of them and that just slides back and forth however you want it. It doesn't slide amazingly, but it lets you push this to the side. Now that back panel right here won't come off, but I push this to the side. That way the turbo could pull clear out. So 13 millimeters so far. The clamp was also a 13 millimeter. It was on the bottom side. That was really nice. That came right off. This clamp right here. 13 millimeter right there. These bolts were a ½ inch and 12 millimeter, depending on how much they rotted out. You had a 10 millimeter for the front. Of course, you need pliers and um, all that good stuff. So let's go over this, make sure I didn't do anything before I show you the end result. So on these, you're going to want to look for oil because these hold oil and coolant. Just make sure there's nothing too bad in here. I got this one out for purposes because on these turbos, they like to crack right in here. I have a lot of people. I was actually talking to someone and they're like, "Well, look for the crack." I guess it cracks on here, on this side. I know it's in this area. It cracks. Mine wasn't cracked. I got 3 turbos so far, and none of them are cracked. But this is the exhaust side. It'll be a little bit dirtier. The other side looks like this. That's the exhaust side. This sucks in your air. This blows out your hot air. Pretty simple. One's white, one's brown. Just look to make sure there's no crack in there if you're reusing your turbo. I don't really know how nice a turbo should spin. Everybody says something different. Just make sure it spins. Like the one I put on, it was a bit stiffer than the one I took off because it was worn out. And then I have an extra one sitting because I have 3 turbos total now. And it spins as free as the one I took off of it. So I don't know how fast they're supposed to spin. I'm just trying to help you guys out. I don't think there's much more on any of that. It's up to you guys if you put that shield back over the converter. But yeah, this one looks really nice. I'm sure it's not even going to be on here, so I'm not going to leave a link or anything. That's what your impeller should look like on the intake side. Which is beautiful. And I will get to what mine looks like now. So, because of this clamp right here breaking, and I'm trying to get it done in a day, I have extra engines laying around, so I went to a 7.3 Power Stroke, which it was a '03 7.3. They actually put a single or one turbo. Well, it's always been one turbo on 7.3. It had only one line. It was out of an ambulance. It only has one line going to the turbo, which is weird because most turbos have two going to it. And I got the clamp off of its turbo, and it fit. Now I'm going to show you this picture, and you guys are going to freak. Now my car has high mileage, and I don't have time for that thing to rot out again. So this is what mine looks like now. I need to clean the engine up a little bit, but uh, there's the new cover. You can tell I bent it just a little bit. I bent it up and then put it back down to do this. Um, I put a 7.3 Power Stroke band on there. And when I put it on there, the bolt that was in it broke, so I had to make my own bolt and all that. Got it on there and everything. But it hit this line, so I just pulled the line up a little bit, no problem there. But I had to cut the shield out because it would not fit with this clamp in there because it's a heavier duty band. It's a one-piece band. This band it has a flexi spot right there that's welded together. I don't even know what you want to call this, but this isn't built for my type of use. I would recommend you guys using this, not what I did, but it all should have went right back together. No problems. This is the done product. I'm going to zoom in and show you. I don't think this looks that bad compared to how better built it is. I went ahead and I haven't put the washer on that one yet, but I have the stainless bolts going now. If you do use stainless, just use the reference on here what the bolt is. Oh no, I went to Menards. It's like a Home Depot, and I used their little thing metric bin and got the exact same bolts. They were like 68 cents a piece, but you can't tighten down stainless bolts as hard because they are a softer bolt and they will break. You could see my little washer's a bit bigger there than right there, and that one is the same one. That's the one I can't wait to replace. That one's great. These are too big, so I'm going to be replacing them. But I put a better band on there. The band held up so far at 60 miles. I put it through a little bit of hell, but tomorrow I'm going to put it through a lot, and then I have a trip clear to, not Florida, California, and that's going to be about 5,000 miles total. And if by the time you guys are watching this, if the video goes out, um, I'll let if the video ain't out or there's something at the end of this, then this band didn't work. But if you guys buy the band that's supposed to go on there, you shouldn't have any problems at all, at least until it breaks again. If yours did break, um, there is a way. This right here. So that right there, see how it pops out? No problem popping that off if you have the tool that goes around it, but it's right on a curve. If you guys know what I'm talking about, normally a fuel line connection works like this sometimes. Normally it's not right on a curve. So it's easier just to pull this out than to try to get them stupid plastic things on there and shove in there because it's on a curve. So that's why I did it that way. And I think I have shown you guys everything. I think I got one more picture. Who knows? I always have pictures. But this works for me. Yeah, there's a bolt missing right there, but they overbuild certain things, and if it does become a problem, I'll put a hole right here. But everything tightened down. Remember that? No, there's that other bolt right there. And I think I have one more photo. This one's still turned. Same picture, just turned. Okay, yep, that's it. Pretty soon we'll be doing the timing chain with photos just like this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. It really is a weekend job for people that don't have a lift. And a trick for, I know this one's got it, for this, you need a 32-inch extension to go from the bottom of your car straight up past all your hoses to put this on. This faces directly down. This mounts to your engine. This directs This goes directly down. It's a tube that when you shut this off, it drains the oil straight back into your oil pan. Now it's got, whoa, you're supposed to zoom up on that picture, you stupid. Okay, so it doesn't work like the last one did. Oh, 50, I need 100. There we go. So it has a little star in there that this screws into and keeps, but there is no play in that line because it's basically a dipstick that don't have a dipstick pull out on it. So it's a fixed line. It doesn't have any flex to it. So it almost wants to slide back into place. Well, if you have these sticking through here, you can't slide it into place. So I put it perfectly on the block. Oh, I picture that. The block that's underneath here, the oil return line, and I put this on there perfectly and slid it in, and then the bolt closest to me, I threaded it in, and then I went below with a really long screwdriver and I stuck it up through the hole, and see it's off just a little bit. I pushed it over with the screwdriver and made the hole line up, and then I stuck um, the bolt up there and it screwed right in. Thank goodness. And this also isn't a normal shape. I don't know if it matters to put it back on, but one side's a little bit square. But uh, mine went on no problems. But you will need a really long extension, and I don't know how people do this stuff back before lifts. I'm grateful I have a lift, but I did all this with 3/8. I did use breaker bars on some parts of it, but it was all 3/8. The 7 millimeter, well, you need a 7 millimeter if you're taking off all your cowling underneath to drain your uh, coolant, but I don't think you need to. All this stuff drains back into your engine and so forth. And I think that's it. I'm moving the picture. We went over inlet, exit, that stupid thing, which was a pain. If you don't know what you're doing, if you didn't know that was a clip, oh, this one has a clip on it. There's a part of a clip there and there. That means the other side of this needs to be pulled and pulled off. It's weird. Somebody don't even know what kind of thing. Yeah, look, it needs pried out right there, and that clip will pop right out. Just put a screwdriver right in that and pry it a little bit, and then stick it all the way through, and then it'll pop right out, no problems. I did not take this stuff off, thank goodness, because I'm seeing that this one comes with it. Even a brand new one comes with them things. It's almost like you don't replace them. Now, with the way I did it, you see how this is the wastegate. You want that to work. Now this pushes, but I don't know how far it pushes. So when I did this, this doesn't stick up. My headset shut off again. This does not stick up to stop this. I actually had this so it faces forward. I liked it a lot better, but the wastegate actually kept hitting it as I was putting it together. So I was like, no, this comes right through and it's right next to there. So I couldn't do that. So just make sure you put everything back how it was. Real quick, we got 13 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 13 millimeter. These little bolts are 10 millimeter down to 7 millimeter, depends how rotted off they were. I used a ratchet wrench right here, there. I think I used a ratchet wrench everywhere on that part. Phillips or standard screwdriver for that. Then there's this piece right here. You'll have to figure that out because this is a Allen wrench and mine was a T5 Torx. You can actually see that, I think, with everything on the car. Yeah, it's right down. It's in this area, I think. It comes down. Yeah, this is the line right here. You don't want to break that either. So where's that picture I was just looking at? I was going over all the sizes again. And 12 millimeter or a half inch. You have to use deep well. Let's see if I can find that picture real quick. You have to use deep well because if you use a shallow, it'll bottom out. So you need a deep well on that. I used like a 3-inch extension on that one. I used a wrench on that one from the top side. That bracket I had to bend up. And this line was a bitch. I actually used a 3 inch, like the typical, I think it's a 3 inch extension, but when you get it out all the way, it pushes against this. So then I have like a 1 inch extension, which most people don't have that. It's like a little shorty. And I got in there and used it. And most of the stuff when I put back together, I used the ratchet. Now this bottom piece here that we were talking about, um, it requires, them are all 13s. This right here, two 10 millimeter bolts. And mine look that good too. Two 10 millimeters. Then you're going to want to use a screwdriver to take that off. This was also a 13, the band that broke. This right here is a 13. I don't think it'd let me take it out all the way either. I think it was stuck just like that. And if another person freaking comments on my fingernails, Jesus Christ. It's my stress relief. And I think that's it. Hopefully I helped somebody out. I think this is 45 minutes, but also is better than a video because I showed you part numbers and everything, like a video up in close. So hopefully this helps somebody, and thanks for watching.